Yellow class review for assessment 2. All right, here comes. Let's get the B1 since it's a tougher one. No, we'll do the A1 since it's natural, it's opening up, and then we'll get that little difference. This side of the room, what do we have for, well, first out here, what do we have for the vertex? This side of the room here with Brenda and Sammy and all you all, what do we have for the vertex? -7, -2. And then what do we have for the actual equation?
Y equals
X plus 7 minus 2.
X plus 7.
Out of the parentheses.
Okay, and the 2 is on the outside by itself. Minus 2. Again, if you look at the vertex, if you know the vertex, you know the numbers. The only thing you have to decide is the sign on the 7. All right, on this side, Jeremy's side, well, what's the vertex that you all have? And it could be anybody on this side.
-2,
-2, -2. By having the vertex, or in this case the maxima, what is you all's equation? Take a look at it. This is the last time. That's why this is a free section. Oh, there is one extra thing on this one. What is the piece that we need to make it go down? Anyone can say it.
negative.
Yeah. That negative has to be in front of that parentheses to make this thing flip down. That's that extra piece. If there were a fraction in front of there, it would make it wider. If there was a regular number, it would make it narrower. But that negative sign makes it point down. All right, standard for a circle is going to be, you got the X before your Y. You have the letter H before the letter K in the alphabet. That for those who don't have it memorized. Like, how do I know which comes first, which comes second? X comes before Y. H comes before K. And of course, all of them come before the letter R. Both the everybody raised to the second power, so if you're memorizing, that part's cool. And then on the inside is all minuses. You need that formula. I don't know why, if they're going to give it anywhere on the test, but without the formula, well, I'll say it this way. If you want to need the formula, I may offer it to you. It may lower the points that you get, but we'll see what happens there. All right, so here it comes. Down 5 to the left 5. The hint is just that you need to go ahead and to put in them. But let me say this to those of us again. Remember how we just did the vertex on that original problem? On this guy, if I were to first go get the center from here, go down 5 to left 5, down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I get that center, there are the two numbers that go in the parentheses. You see that -5, -5? When I go to put in my answer, I just have to remember I changed the sign. But if I get the center, which everyone can, then automatically I get the formula. The radius in this case happens to be a 7. Well, there we go. You need 2 out of 3 pieces on this one. The equation is one of the pieces. The picture is the other piece. Can someone say how we find out where to put these 4 dots from the center? What do we do? There are 4 dots we need to actually sketch the picture.
Just count outwards.
Just count outwards. Whatever the radius is, count out. It's 7 in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You just count outwards, just like Eric said. Let me say one last thing for anyone who wants a 3 or a 4. The big picture gets you a 2. It comes off of the picture, or rather off of the grid, which is a bad thing. We need to rescale this so that it fits right on the grid. How do you rescale it? Instead of making each block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, make them like 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So that when it's time to put in the original, then it'll fit smaller. I don't know how to rescale it. Okay, go for 2. Get the equation, make the big picture, you get a 2, and you're done. All right, take a look, see if you have any questions on To factor, you can't have that number out front. How do we get rid of that negative 3? We just divide it under each one. Will you have calculators? I think I'm going to offer them. I'm going to see if that. If I feel like you're doing more with the calculator than you should be, then I'll ask you not to. But for now, I think I'm going to put it out there. When you divide it through, you get these 3 pieces. The last piece you put at the top of the x. The middle piece you put it at the bottom of the x. The question is, what are two numbers that when you multiply them give you a 28, but when you add them give you a 3? In this case, 4 times 7 will give you a 28. How do you know which one's going to be positive and which one's going to be negative? The answer is this. The larger number will always have the same sign as the bottom number. So if they have to have two different numbers, well, in this case, 7 has to be positive. Why? 1, because it has to have the same sign, but then 2 for the reason where when you actually do the math, negative 4 plus 7 is a positive 3. But if you forget how to add it, at least you know how to match those two. Once you have those two, you have gotten 1 point. You only need 3. 3 out of 4, you win. You factored. Put them in the parentheses, you got 1 point. Number 2, getting the zeros, that's way easy. Same number, opposite sign. Same number, opposite sign, but you do have to write it as an ordered pair. 2 points.
How do we justify why we chose that method?
In this case, you can just put, write down, just put it's the easier of the two. And you could write, and he didn't teach us the other ones because it's so much harder. And he knows what.
Right. Tom wasn't that big question.
You put it, I'll give it to you. All right, here it comes. So you got your zeros. The next part, they put it in the order where they want maximus next. But for us, remember, skip the maximus section, which is the vertex, and go down to the line of symmetry. Hey, how do I get the line of symmetry? Again, I just add 2 numbers, and then divide by 2. If it gives you something like this, I hope they don't do a decimal on the test. I hope they let it be just a regular number to plug in. Remember when you do your LOS, your line of symmetry, add, divide by 2. If it's a fraction, you'll have calculators turn into a decimal. But you must write out the equation. X equals the number, negative 1.5.
What's the line of symmetry in this context?
In this context, the line of symmetry is the highest point of the rocket, or it's the change. The vertex shows the highest point. It's the change from the rocket going up to it going down. If I toss the ball, the line of symmetry is when it changes direction from going up to going down. If we were in a swimming pool, they did Michael Phelps, it would be a swoop like that. The line of symmetry would be the change from going down to going up. Okay. That's for the fours. For the fours, we're describing, hey, what's the line of symmetry? It's the change from going up to going down. Or a change in directions if you just want to be general about it. Last step, and this is the one where I didn't do what I was supposed to. So if you just do what's on the board, I'm going to let it go. But for those who need to get it correct for future classes, for other math things, there's a part I have to add here for the vertex. And I'm going to add in just a moment. So here it comes. Hey, how do I get my vertex? Well, I use the line of symmetry, the actual line of symmetry, which is 1.5. I need to get, oh, there it is. And I put it back into the original. Wherever I see an x, I just set down here, x was equal to negative 1.5. So in the place of the x, I put a 1.5. In the place of the second x, I put a 1.5. Now, your calculator is going to do all the work for you. You do open parenthesis, the negative 1.5 minus 4, close parenthesis, do the same thing again, plug it in, hit enter. That will get you the point. For 3s and 4s, here's actually what we needed. Notice here that this vertex says it's negative 1.5 and negative 30.20. Watch this. A negative 1.5 would be back here, and a negative 30.20 would be down here. That's the vertex, according to what we just figured out here. Well, the vertex is really up here. It's at the top of the hill. How is it down here? What happened was this. To actually get the answer at the very beginning, there was a negative 3 that we factored out. We took out this negative 3, and it just kind of disappeared. Right. Technically, that negative 3, if you're going to do the official deal, should have been multiplied right out front here. So I'm going to add this part in. Once you plug this stuff in, you have to multiply that answer by a negative 3. And it will turn this negative 30 into some positive number, which will show really technically where that is. What does that mean to anybody in the room? Just do what's here regular, because that's what we practice. But to do it for real, whatever we factor out, a negative 5, a negative 3, a negative whatever, When you do the vertex line, put that there. You're just gonna move things around. Let me move it around for people who may ever watch the video or the review. The K, of course, with the slider, these buttons are called sliders, moves it up or down. We know that by now. The H moves it left and right. And I need it to, I need a 3-2. 3-2. And then the A makes it narrower, that is flatter to the ground, or stretched up higher. Y equals, just take the numbers right off of the list. Mine is a 2.7. 2.7 radical x is my h plus 3, and the k is a minus 3.
Oh, H is -3, and then K is -2.
K is -2. Let me put the real numbers. And I see your hand, Brenda. What you ask me? -2.
Yeah.
Your K, your A is anything?
It was 1.8.
I'll leave it. Jeremy, is your A 1.8 too?
Well, now it is.
Hey, Jose, what'd you get for your A?
A 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4. And so basically what I will do, 1.4, I will take, if it's reasonable, like if it's a 32 point something, like what? But if I see enough of the 1.4, 1.8, then I know.
1.8, so it can hit 2.
Oh, I think I can hit 0, -1, or 1, -0.